All right. Guys, sorry about that. I think we had another technical difficulty. Appreciate Macy figuring it out. Let's go on to verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day. I thought about this same idea of the hen. You shouldn't be afraid of the terror by night because the hen, if we go back to verse 4, he's covered us by his feathers. He's covered us. He's surrounded us. He's protecting us just as that hen protects her babies at night. But then it says, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. We don't fear at night because God's arms, He's protecting us. But then we don't have to fear during the day because the arrows that come, we have the shield of truth to protect us from that. And he goes into more detail on that in verse 6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. And I think the psalmist brought this up, not for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. You know, why are we scared of the dark? From ancient times, why are folks afraid of the dark? You can't see what's there. You don't know what's there. You can't see an enemy. You can't see a potential danger. But when you look at that, so nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday. The first point you can take of that is that His protection is when? All the time, right? His protection is at night. His protection is during the day. He's there with us. He's protecting us all the time. But another point I made that just comes out is that He protects us from the expected and the unexpected. And He protects us from the known and the unknown. Do you see that there? This idea of His pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday. To me, I see that as saying, there's things that we know are a danger. He protects us from them, but then He also protects us from things that we don't know are a danger. Just as He protects us from the expected things as well as the unexpected things. He's there for us no matter what. How many of us worry about the unknown? Lord knows I do. Felicia, we've had this conversation more than once. I worry about things that I can't control. How many of us do that? We worry about these things. We worry about the unknown. We worry about, I'm the world's worst of worrying about what's going to happen 4 or 5 years from now. As far as the farm goes and trees and enough brush and... Don't I, baby? I worry about these things. But yet we look in this verse, and God is protecting me from the known and the unknown. He's protecting me from the expected and the unexpected. His protection is all the time. Our next group of verses, we're going to skip just a few, but still in Psalms 91. But we're in Psalms 91, verses 9 through 13. Verse 9 says, Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Guys, verse 9 says, Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. Do you see what the psalmist is saying? He says, because you have made the Lord, who is your refuge, who is the Most High, because you have made Him your habitation, then there shall no evil befall thee. Then neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shall they trample under their feet. We can overcome our fear. We don't have to worry about those things because we have made the Lord, which is our refuge, which is the Most High, our habitation. Do you see that? It's I know it's simple, right? It's simple. We just have to believe it. David believed that as he walked onto that battlefield. He was scared. He was anxious. He was nervous. He was worried. But in my mind, he quoted these verses. In my mind, he says, because I have made the Lord, which is my refuge, which is the Most High, because I have made you my habitation, there shall no evil befall me, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for He shall give His angels charge over me, to keep me in all thy ways. They shall bear me up in their hands, lest I should dash my foot against a stone. I shall tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon, I shall trample them under my feet. I see King David saying these exact words as he walked out to meet a giant. I say that, Michael, you can say those exact words as you go out to face your giant. And Macy and Abby and Felicia and Jason and Brian, we can say these words as we go out to face whatever giant it is that we face. Whether it be the giant of depression, worry, fear, health, sickness, finances, whatever that giant is that we go to face, we can all stay together because I have made the Lord, which is my refuge, which is the Most High, because I have made you my habitation. Then there shall no evil befall me, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. We can all make that statement. Do we believe it? Do we get it? It's true. If we go back to the last group of verses, His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Because it is true, we can rely all our trust in that. Just as those little chicks under their mother, all their trust is in their mother. And she will protect, they know that she will protect them. And we can do that with our God. Whatever it is that we face, we can do that. Our next group and our last group of verses, well, actually there's a question I want to add. But the question in our material says, when have you seen God's protection cause fear to fall away? Anybody want to share? When have you seen God's protection cause fear to fall away? I know me personally, it goes back to my salvation story, my testimony, that, before I was saved, before that night in my bedroom and I gave my heart and my life to Jesus Christ, I was terrified of everything. I was terrified of losing loved ones. I was terrified of getting sick myself. I was terrified of death. I was terrified of so much that, there was lots of things I didn't do or partake in because I was scared. And, I know for a fact that through my salvation from that night forward, those fears were taken away from me. And my life changed immensely. Y'all find this hard to believe. Before my salvation, the thought of standing before somebody and talking was more than I could have bared. I was shy. I was quiet. And I tie all that together. I mean, God took my fears when He gave me my salvation. And so for me personally, when have I seen God's protection cause fear to fall away? That's my personal story. But let's move on. Our last group of verses, Psalms 91, verses 14 through 16. Verse 14 says, "Because He has set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver Him. I will set Him on high, because He hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation." Guys, what we got to realize is that verses 14 through 16 is God's response. Okay? So if we go to verse 13, or verses 9 through 13, this is me saying, this is you saying, "Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation." Because I have made the Lord, which is my refuge, which is the Most High, I have made you my habitation. That's how verse 9 through 13, and it follows through what the promises are to me from making that statement. Now this is God responding back to me and you. And God says to us, because you have set my name, because you have set your love upon me, therefore will I deliver you. I will set you on high, because you have known my name. This is God's response to you and me. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. Now I want to stop right there. Because He has set His love upon me. You know, God surrounds the one whose heart is not divided. God surrounds the ones whose heart is not divided. The Great Commandment says what? To love the Lord our God with our heart, soul, strength, and mind. For those that love the Lord their God, our God, with all of our heart, soul, strength, and mind, He surrounds us. He protects us. He's there for us. These promises are to us. But our heart cannot be divided. Verse 14 again, it says, "Because He has set His love upon me." Have you set your love upon Him? Have I set my love upon Him? I want to be surrounded by His protection and love. I can be surrounded by His protection and love, but first I have to set my love upon Him. My heart cannot be divided. I must love the Lord my God with all of my heart, soul, strength, and mind. Then it says, "Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name." Why will I be set on high? Because I have known His name. Why will I be delivered? Because I have known His name. And I can have all these promises once I set my love upon Him and my heart isn't divided. Verse 15 says, "He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him." This is God talking. God says that He shall call upon me and I will answer him. God says when Jason calls upon me, I will answer him. God says I will be with Jason when he's in trouble. God says I will deliver him. God says, and I will honor him. Fill in your name right there, guys. When we love God with a heart that is undivided, we have all these promises laid before us. What is keeping you from loving God with your heart? All your heart and all your soul and all your strength and all your mind. What is it that you're holding on to that's keeping you from being able to say that? What is it that you are holding on to that is not allowing you to love God with an undivided heart. Look what the rewards are. The rewards are ultimate protection. The rewards are that God shall answer me. The rewards are that He will be with me in trouble. The rewards are that He will deliver me. The rewards are that He will not only do all those things to me, but He will honor me. Those are the rewards of loving God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Verse 16 says, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. God says, with long life will I satisfy Jason. And I will show Jason my salvation. I will give Jason my salvation. I will be there for him. Now, I think it's important to note, we've kind of covered all our verses. We'll not live this life without trouble. We'll not live this life without problems. We'll not live this life without adversity. We may not live a long life. But God's promises are still true. He's still going to protect us. And He does it all the way through to my what? My salvation. Do we really realize, as a conclusion, as we look at Psalms 91 and look at it in the light of the whole message of the Scripture, and you know, we must not view this poem as a guarantee to God's people that they will never suffer adversity. Because we know that in reality we all do. We also know that the Lord uses suffering to help us mature spiritually. But the psalm assures us that the Lord is present with His trusting children even in the most distressing experiences. And it reminds us that we can shake off fear because we are secure in His care. But the other point of that is that we should keep in mind the big picture, that God's protection includes salvation. And that takes us eternally beyond what we know on this temporary earth. God, our salvation takes us permanently beyond what we know now on this temporary earth. And so, whatever it is that we're dealing with, we can overcome the fear of it, knowing that through our salvation, we have the promise of permanent protection. Permanent, I don't know how to say it, other than protection. And it's only through our salvation, which was given to us by God. You know, God responded to Job with questions of His own. And through those questions that God asked Job, Job realized he knew little about how our sovereign God works. Read the book of Job, the end. You know, God asked Job, were you there? And through those questions, by God questioning Job, Job realized how little he knew. And Job learned what we should do. We can trust God even when we don't understand. God doesn't tell us how or when He will rescue us. He only assures us that He will deliver. God doesn't tell us how or when He will rescue us. All His promise is that He will deliver. He will deliver. And guys, that's all I've got this morning. I hope that we can see that God is our defender no matter what we face. I hope you take the picture of that hen. No matter what the odds, no matter what the attacker, that hen protects her little ones. She keeps them under her wings and keeps them under her fold of protection. And that's the beautiful picture of what God does for us. And no matter what we go through, no matter what falls upon us, we can trust that God will be there for us all the time. Living it out this week says make a list. Make a list of those things that tend to cause you fear. Beside each of those fears, make a note of why trusting God will help you to overcome that fear. The second point is to get counsel. If you deal with a long-term, deep-seated fear or phobia, talk to your pastor or a trusted friend. Talking to a friend can help get to the root of such fears and help you get to the place where you can trust God. And then support. Walk alongside someone who might be prone to fear. Be an example and a model to them. And then I wrote down 2 Timothy verses 1 through 7. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. God hasn't put a spirit of fear in us. That's Felicia's one of her favorite verses. Mine too. But God has not given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the spirit of power and the spirit of love and the spirit of a sound mind. We can overcome those things that do scare us. We can overcome them. And because God is truth and He's there for us. Anyway, guys, next week, I'm excited. It's the Sunday school lesson before Christmas, and we're going to be looking at Embracing Joy as the title of next week's lesson, and I'm just excited to bring it to you. Please let everybody know, and look forward to being with you next week. Again, thank you, Macy. Thank you, Brian, for doing this. Appreciate y'all.